past couple of years, Nexus Mods has become a really crazy platform because they are so inconsistent with what they ban and what they allow. Unfortunately, it is a platform ran by activists who are not consistent and really don't care about your freedom to mod your game in whatever way you want. They are willing to ban any kind of content that they personally deem offensive, and now, unfortunately, they have taken down a mod for Expedition 33 that replaces female characters with non-nude 2Bs. I have a few different things to show off, but before I get into the topic, if you enjoy the content I create, check out the links in the description, join the community in my live streams, but consider supporting through Patreon or YouTube memberships. Now, obviously, not every single person in the world wants to mod their games. They want to play it the way that the developers originally intended, but the point of making mods and ultimately using mods is so that you can customize your experience. Expedition 33 isn't an online multiplayer game where if you download a mod, someone else's game might be affected or anything like that. It is a single player game where your experience matters, not anybody else's, but unfortunately for single player games, their mods are removed very frequently as well, which sucks because Nexus Mods is a very big name. A lot of people, especially normies, when they think of mods, they think of Nexus Mods. Luckily, there are a lot of alternatives now, but there are still people who don't really know the controversies with this platform and don't know that their, moderators are activists. And unfortunately, if you wanted to download this really cool mod, you won't be able to from this platform now. So this is a post by Mark Fox, who said the woke libtards at Nexus Mods took down my favorite Expedition 33 mod. It replaced the female characters with non-nude 2B Kaine in a bunny suit. Yes, Mael is canonically 16, but it replaced her entire body and face. It did not just change her outfit. And this has been the argument that I've seen that, oh my god, why do you want to objectify and sexualize a fictional 16-year-old character? This is absolutely disgusting. You're the problem. Look over this guy's hard drives. But ultimately, this mod doesn't just take her face and slap it on a different body. It doesn't just ultimately take her face and her body proportions and just put this costume on her. It completely replaces the entire female character, and it's not just for her, it's for all of them. It's for Sayel, it's for Lune, it's for all of them, which I think is really cool. Now, obviously, I absolutely adore the character designs in Expedition 33, so I personally wouldn't really get any use out of this, but ultimately, it's not that big of a deal. It's completely replacing the original character model with the ones from the NieR games, which is a perfectly fine and perfectly acceptable mod to have on your platform. But unfortunately, Nexus Mods doesn't think that that is the case. Nexus Mods thinks that this is degenerate content and you're a disgusting person if you want to do this, and they are banning all of these mods. Now, am I particularly shocked by this? No, not really. Nexus Mods will ban anything that the sensitive snowflakes in their audience complain about a couple of times, or what they've done more recently is they just shoot first and ask questions later. They'll ban mods, but then if you decide to complain about it and gamers actually speak up, well, they turn course and they say, oh, well, we didn't get rid of this mod just because of the content. We also did because of the uploader, and we had to ban the uploader for inappropriate content on our platform. So then the mod just happened to get banned. We actually saw this happen with the male and female mod for Oblivion. I don't think that it's just because of the individual who uploaded it. I believe they wanted to get rid of this content, but then they realized, oh man, we're facing tons of backlash now, so we have to find a excuse to reverse course. Nexus Mods had issued a community notice that appeared to mark a quiet reversal on the controversial Oblivion remastered mod that restored the traditional male and female options to the game's character creator, which, by the way, isn't controversial content at all in any capacity whatsoever. We are talking about what 95% of people say on a daily basis. They refer to themselves as males or females, not they, thems, I wumbo, you wumbos. It's not that big of a deal to have male and female over body types 1 and body types 2. This shouldn't have ever been a mod that got removed, but while the platform claims the mod did not violate our community guidelines, it also confirmed the original upload was removed due to the uploader's behavior and not the mod's content. I personally don't believe that. After years and years of political activism on their platform, they are not going to have me sitting here believing them in this situation. Maybe if they had actually come out and ultimately reversed course on several mods, right, I might feel a little bit differently, but yeah, I just don't trust them. Nexus mods folds, people wrote. They try to claim that the mod was never banned for the mod, but for the behavior of the mod maker, but they've banned other male and female mods before. It is a win, gamers, and this definitely is the case. They are not afraid to ban content that they have deemed unacceptable. This isn't an isolated case. As Grums noted, Nexus Mods has a history of removing mods that revert or replace modern customization terminology with traditional male or female labels. That history makes their current defense framing this as an issue of uploader behavior difficult to accept at face value for many in the gaming community. In this particular case, Nexus claims the modder was banned not because of the mod's content, but for expressing an intent to incite drama and linking to what they called an inflammatory external website. You know what I think is funny? I personally think that what Bethesda wanted to do was incite drama by adding body types 1 and 2 in a remaster. When you are making a remaster or a remake, you are supposed to make the content as close to the original as possible. This was clearly a politically motivated change, and I think that they wanted all press, even if it was negative press. We've seen Nexus mods go crazy over several different things, especially trigger warnings. Nexus mods had removed a mod that erased Crystal Dynamics trigger warnings that appeared in the Tomb Raider 1-3 remastered collection. The trigger warning states the games in this collection contain offensive depictions of people and cultures rooted in racial and ethnic prejudices. These stereotypes are deeply harmful, inexcusable, and do not align with our values at Crystal Dynamics. It adds, rather than removing this content, we have chosen to present it here in its original form, unaltered, in the hopes that we may acknowledge its harmful impact and learn from it. And there were mods to make this screen black. Now, of course, Nexus mods and some of their followers said, oh, it's just a quick screen that you can skip over or not read if you don't want to. Why is it such a big deal? But if it's not that big of a deal that it is added into the game, then it shouldn't be that big of a deal that people ultimately want to remove it from their version. But these mods were unfortunately taken down, and it's just not a good look all around, at least, of course, in my and many other people's opinions. And this is why it's so important to support alternatives. Luckily, there is based mods, there is DEG mods, there is Ayaka mods, there are a slew of alternatives at this point. But unfortunately, yeah, there are still a lot of normies that will go to Nexus mods because it has the largest base of mods, and there are a lot of people who are comfortable with it, so they will pick that over something like DEG or based. But there are alternative ways to obtain mods like this that do get banned from the activists over at Nexus. And of course, Nexus is getting roasted right now over this. People saying, yikes, why can't you just let gamers have their fun? Wait, that's illegal. Modders, wouldn't it be fun if... I'm gonna stop you right there, Nexus mods. Gamers want sexy mods, period. I don't think that this is that big of a deal at all whatsoever. It is a fictional character in a fictional outfit, and it is just replacing one character, or multiple characters if you activate it for every female, with a character from an entirely different game. I don't like them taking these down. On the other hand, the mod takes a very tasteful, emotionally honest game and turns it into a lewd joke. Well, that's the nice thing about mods, is you don't have to download it if you don't want to. I'm curious to see what the version looked like. There's so much soy tea over there at Nexus. Of course they do, and someone gives them money to do it. What does it really matter? Like, there are characters that wear swimsuits in the game. It's also for their own PC. What don't they get? Which is also true. This game does have characters in bikinis and swimsuits, so it shouldn't be that big of a deal. But of course, to the activists over at Nexus, Nexus it is. So I'll be keeping my eye on this to see if they end up putting it back up and say, oh, it was just a simple little honest mistake, or if they keep it banned. But that's all that I really had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this, give it a like, and if you didn't, give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I'll talk to you all again in the next video really soon.